I'm pretty sure I ruined my parents' life. So what do I actually mean by that? I'm having a conversation with ChatGPT. Here's what I asked. If I wanted my kids to go here someday, Soulberry School, or someplace like it, please list other options. How might I prepare? Start at birth. And as I'm reading and thinking about what this actually means and requires and the day-to-day and, you know, how you raise a child. And I have been a full-time nanny before, so it's not like I'm unfamiliar with child rearing, childcare. I was married to a teacher. I understand a lot of these things. Hold on. Like I was saying before the lawn guy got here, basically, I'm looking at the job requirements, and you can't just fall in love with the end result. You also have to fall in love with the process. And when it comes to children, I'm just not there yet. I'm absolutely not there yet. I just started my life. Like, in the last 6 months, I've been able to finally start to make some money and start to pull ahead. And I refuse to do motherhood in a way that is the way that it has been for the last like 40 years or even 50 years here in America. I was talking to Floyd, whose house I'm in, before he left, because we were talking about how growing up being a stay-at-home mom was not an option. It was not even presented as a possibility. And that leads us to talk about the generation that raised my generation and the generation before that. And the way I said it is their rebellion became our burden. And the go from work to pick up the kids, to go to the grocery store, make dinner, wash them up, put them to bed, you know, crash into bed yourself or resort to drinking. Like, no, that's not who I am. That's not who I am. And I do know myself. If I were stressed at being a parent, I am so sure that I would fuck it up royally. Like, I would absolutely end up with, and I don't drink. Like, I don't drink at all. Like, I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't like any of that stuff. I am allergic to pot. You know, like, none of that stuff appeals to me. So knowing that I am not a substance person, I could absolutely see myself turning to substances as, you know, like just as an absolute act of desperation and depression, from fucking up being a parent and not being able to do it to the degree that I would like to. And that's really not what you do. That's the worst thing you can do. And the fact that I, even just in thinking about being a parent, get like a cry ball in my throat, that's probably a really good sign that I should not go down that path. Because I guess what that means, honestly, is that doing that job well means that it is that important to me that if I wasn't able to do parenting to the level of success that I deem success, I would be so broken by it that it would ruin my life. It would absolutely ruin my life. And I think that the reason that in my 20s and even into my 30s, early 30s, I met plenty of really wonderful, eligible men who said, "You're the future mother of my children." And I said, "Sorry, you got the wrong girl." That's not me. Is because until I met my ex, I'll just say his name, until I met Khalifa, I had never met anybody who was going to support me and provide and protect enough for me to be able to truly enjoy being a mom. And when that relationship ended, and it definitely needed to end, I had to ask myself if I did in fact still want to have children, or if that was now off the table. And because for decades, like a decade and a half, I'd been saying that I didn't want to have children, I didn't even know during those times that there was a criteria that had to be met for me to be willing to have children. People said to me all the time in my 20s, "Oh my God, you make such a great mom. You make such a great mom." And I'd say, no, I wouldn't, because I know myself too well. I know myself too well that I would actually be a terrible mom. And that was the way that I kind of explained it away. But the other side of that equation is that there is actually a circumstance in which I would be a badass mom. Like, it would just be so great and so fun, and it would be so amazing, and it would be magnificent. And all of the things in this little job posting, if you will, I would sign right up for them because they're interesting. The thing is, it's being a parent is not, it's not about what you say. It's not about what you try to instill. It's about what you exude. It's what you do. Kids are monkey see, monkey do. They are not monkey listen. So if you want to instill certain values in your kids, you have to exhibit them yourself. And when I look at this list, I go, I don't have time. I don't have time to do all that. I don't have the resources to do all of that. I don't have the discipline to do all of that. I don't have the desire to do any of it in my life the way it is right now. I just don't see my leisure addict kind of ways promoting a healthy lifestyle for a child that sets them up for a successful life. Like, if you see mom lounging and just soaking up, savoring, every tiny bit of a moment, like that's what you'll do. You'll do the same things. I am very clear that I am my mom in a lot of ways, and I have to fight some of those instincts, and I lean into others. But I recognize that one of the things that ruined my parents' relationship is that when I was born, Dad still wanted to have fun, Mom wanted to be a mom and take things seriously. And Dad felt like he lost his best friend, and Mom felt like she didn't have a partner. So I don't think it's a good idea for me to recreate that future or that past. And that's definitely not the way to have kids. Now, have I turned out just fine? I don't know, have I? Am I a product of my parents' parenting? Or am I a product of my generation? Am I a product of the circumstances and the things that, the privilege that I lost when my parents got their divorce? Am I a product of pop culture and all the media that I consumed when I lived with my dad as a teenager? I think all of it. I don't think there is one answer. I think it's all a combination of all of these things. And even if I were to do everything right, get all my circumstances in order, have all of our ducks in a row, and decide to have children, there's still that possibility that just the time that they grow up in and the friends that they have, or some mistake ruins their life and sends them down a path that is absolutely not what we intended. I mean, you can only do so much. And there are a number of very, very well-intentioned parents who did not get the life that they expected. And these days, it's even harder to know up front if you will even have a healthy child, if you will have a well-developed child, mentally and physically. And the way that I described it to my friend is, asking me to have a child now is like asking me to give my all at something that I am 100% guaranteed to fail at. Because it's just, I am not ready. I'm not ready. There's no way that I'm ready. My partner isn't ready. Like, the circumstances are not right. They're not right. And by the time the circumstances are right, my body probably won't be right. And if he's okay with that, that's great. But then it means the circumstances have to be even better to afford the other set of circumstances that would need to then be triggered to be able to still raise a child, meaning have a surrogate or whatever, like whatever it is. Like if we're going to freeze embryos, if we're going to, I can't even believe I'm talking about this, if we're going to freeze embryos or we're going to have a surrogate or whatever, like in my mind, freezing embryos, having a surrogate, we're talking like $250,000. Maybe I'm wrong. But in my mind, that's what it's going to cost. So you wanted to have children with me, but it took us too long to get there. Now it's going to cost you an extra $250,000 just to have the child. That's not even including, the other stuff. So what my friend reminded me of is, he said, you're a big support to a lot of people. And I think that when you are ready to have children or a child, you will be surprised at the amount of support that comes your way. Maybe so, but I'm just starting to learn about what the different options are, like nanny pods and neighbor blah blah blah, or I don't know, but I don't want to be concerned with just everyday childcare when my instincts and my goals say that we should be able to travel and have a nanny that goes with us. We should be able to live in other countries and have our children attend international schools. Our children should experience boarding school. Our children should experience public school. They should experience homeschool. Like, they should be able to have a very wide understanding of what's out there, being exposed to all incomes, being exposed to, as many fields as possible, the arts. So, I want them to have a very good understanding of the world. And what does that then mean? What does that then teach them? Hopefully to be a person of impact in a positive way. And on that note, I now have to go get in the pickup line to watch my friend's kids for the next 2 days. As always, I wish for you to live a long, healthy, happy, beauty-filled, fulfilled life with a complete love that goes the distance and a lifetime of financial comfort for you and your family.